Yeah, so it is an important weekend to be able to make something big happen. Now, there are no guarantees that one of our Round of 8 drivers are going to make it to victory lane tomorrow for the South Point 400, but this is what's going to give us our first indicator of who brought speed here to Las Vegas.
And, you know, when I look at this lineup, the drivers that we have in the Round of 8, the heavyweights have all come to play. You have 3 from Gibbs, 3 from Hendrick, 2 from Penske. The little guys, no space at the table. No space at the table at all. These are all the heavyweights that came to play.
You know, you hear from people in the garage, and they will tell you person to person that, hey, look, if I'm in the playoffs, I'd rather be the only one on my team in the playoffs because all the resources go to you. And I understand that. I would feel that way too, Mark. The race fan in me is actually kind of happy about this. Every organization has only one car that is not in the playoffs. So for Hendrick, they've got 3 of their 4 cars in. Alex Bowman, the only one not a playoffs contender, as you have the number 5 of Kyle Larson, the number 9 of Chase Elliott, the number 24 of William Byron. When you look at Joe Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs, the only one not in playoffs contention. So you've got Denny Hamlin, you have Christopher Bell, you have Chase Briscoe. And for Team Penske, Austin Cindric, the only one not in contention. So you have Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. For us as the race fans, Mark, this is great because not only do they have to race the rest of the field, they have to race each other. Man, that's going to be awesome.
Internal politics, Monday morning competition meetings could get rough over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, hey, look, we all know that race teams are really good. We're going to share information we learn in practice, setup, and all of that. But, oh, gosh, did I forget to add that extra quarter pound of air pressure for what I told you we were doing?
And, you know, there's that, and then you just look at the points. Denny Hamlin, he's ranked number 1. When have we ever had anybody ranked number 1, only 8 points above the cut line going into race 1 in the Round of 8? Ryan Blaney, +6. Kyle Larson is +4. Byron, +4. Christopher Bell is -4. Chase Briscoe -14, as is Chase Elliott. Joey Logano -24 coming into this race. So the points are so tight. I mean, one bad race, a bad weekend here at Las Vegas, and then you have to face the total wild card that is Talladega, and then, of course, you got the fist fight that we've got at Martinsville Speedway coming up before we get to Phoenix.
Yeah, and by the way, if someone needs a win to get into the championship round at Martinsville among those 8 drivers, you know who could do it, Mark? All of them.
Yes.
Every one of them has a great record at Martinsville. Right now, Ross Chastain is the early one to jump up to the top. He's smashed a watermelon here in Xfinity competition in Las Vegas before. He is the fastest with his best time, 29.952 seconds for Ross Chastain. That translates to over 180 miles per hour around this 1.5-mile circuit.
All 19 drivers in this practice have now made laps. Carson Hocevar second quick. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. third. Fourth, Justin Haley. John Hunter Nemechek is fifth. Kyle Busch sixth. Zane Smith seventh. Then the rest of our top 10, Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson, and Eric Jones as we go down to pit road in Wendy Venturini.
Kyle Busch sixth in this practice session so far. Said turns 1 and 2 feel pretty good for him. He needs a little bit more right rear attachment, so he needs his car to get into the track a little bit more for Kyle Busch. Also, I hear reports from the spotters on top of the spotter stand. It is a little bit more windy than normal here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, so we're going to see if that's affecting anything with the with the drive of these race cars, but that is a report from the spotters up top.
Eric Jones talked about two things in his press conference today, along with John Hunter Nemechek. One, the wind is a headwind down the back straightaway here today because we've had some storms in the area, so it's a little bit different. Usually it's a tailwind going down the back straightaway. This time it is a little bit of a headwind. The other part of it, he thought the racetrack, because of the temperature, was going to get very slick. He pulled out the old line from Harry Hogg in Days of Thunder that the track's going to be slicker than owl snot, and that's how quick that he thinks these cars are going to be ill handling in this practice session, and basically throughout the day when we get to the Xfinity Series race, and then maybe subject to change in a major way because the temperature drops tomorrow 8-10 degrees.
Yeah, right now it's 83 degrees here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tomorrow's high projected to be right around 75 degrees. There are nice white puffy clouds in the sky, but the sun is completely baking this 1.5-mile speedway at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So as we watch them right now, Ross Chastain's best time at 29.952 seconds, and he's made 10 laps. His last time, a 30.493, actually a 30.603. So that's a drop of about 0.7 of a second just in 11 laps. And the reason why this is significant, Goodyear has been working on new compounds of tires. They brought another new one here to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's the same tire that we ran at Kansas Speedway just a few weeks ago, and we saw great racing at Kansas. We've seen historically great racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but the more tire degradation we have, the more lap time drop-off we have, the more it puts it in the driver's hands to manage that tire wear. So if we have lap time drop-off with tire degradation, Mark, that's a good thing. That actually throws some more driver skill into what they can manage over the course of a run.
It's what the drivers want. I think it's good for the fans. It's good for us. You know, we've seen it now not only in oval track racing. We saw it a week ago on the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Absolutely makes for a better race, and we'll just have to see how that plays out speed-wise in this weekend South Point 400. Right now, let's go down to Heather DeBow.
Well, a lot of factors to think about here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You guys touched on tire fall-off, but some chatter that I heard prior to this practice session starting was the issues that the Xfinity drivers were having in practicing qualifying in their sessions in turn 3 and 4, and in listening in on Todd Gill, and he just said that's his biggest issue. He said he's really loose over there. Another driver said it's really hard to get these cars balanced correct because of the disconnect between 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. The turns are so different, so trying to find that balance to where you're good on both ends will be a concern and something these teams are striving for here in these practice sessions.
You know, you look at Chastain's speed, 180.288. Remember back in the spring, of course, again, conditions much different than today, but Michael McDowell captured the pole at 186.961 miles per hour, so way faster in the spring than we are right now. A lot of that has to do with the tire. A lot of that has to do with the temperature.
Yeah, the other interesting side of that, too, Mark, this is just Group 1, and in this practice session, they still have about 15 and a half minutes left in this 25-minute practice session. Any team from group number 2 that has a teammate out there right now, they are fully in tune with what's going on with them. For example, Ross Chastain, when it comes to the metric, he was the last one to be in Group 1. He was just short of actually making it into Group 2, and they say that's preferred because you get to find out what happens over that 25-minute practice session. But for teammate and Roval winner Shane Van Gisbergen, they get the benefit of seeing what Ross Chastain is doing, what he's telling his team. Daniel Suarez the same, also at Trackhouse as well, and that's a great thing for them. So a bit of an advantage for those teams going out later, and we'll see what they find out in Group 1, how the Group 2 teams can translate that into adjustments to their car.
A lot of times we talk about clean air being king. Information is king as well when it comes to qualifying. Right now, Carson Hocevar has the best 10-lap average. Ross Chastain the best 5, and the best 15-lap average bounces back to Ross Chastain. Right now, Austin Cindric has run 18 laps. Carson Hocevar 18, along with Riley Herbst.
So we've got practice Group 1 happening right now. 14 and a half minutes left for them. We'll come back and we will continue that before the Group 2 cars go out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
When it comes to maintaining your engine to run at peak performance, trust Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Z-Max soaks into metal, so it's easy to add to your oil or gas to disperse carbon buildup in your engine, fuel system, and transmission. Protect your vehicle's engine to the max with Z-Max. Check us out at zmax.com or visit us on Facebook and Twitter to find out more about our full line of products. Remember the name Z-Max for your car, big rig, small engines, firearms, and more. That's Z-Max Micro Lubricant.
Hi, I'm PRN's Alexis Erickson. Want to listen to PRN anywhere you go? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to live race broadcasts and have on-demand access to your favorite shows like Fast Talk, Pit Reporters, Garage Pass, and PRN's At the Track. Download today to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Get the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app, available on Apple App Store and Google Play. Find more information at goprn.com.
Here in fabulous Las Vegas, pedal to the metal is all we know, on or off the racetrack. Whether you're here for NASCAR, live music, incredible restaurants, or world-class entertainment, Vegas is the town that never slows down. With so many ways to play and so much to explore, fabulous Las Vegas encourages you to go all out. Head to visitlasvegas.com for more. From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, I'm PRN's Alexis Erickson. Want to listen to PRN anywhere you go? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to live race broadcasts and have on-demand access to your favorite shows like Fast Talk, Pit Reporters, Garage Pass, and PRN's At the Track. Download today to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Get the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN.
Truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm. And I was about to lose homeowners insurance as well. I applied for Operation Homefront Critical Financial Assistance Program. And it's good to know that when we come home, there are people who are there that care about us. Operation Homefront, they've really been a blessing.
We're back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway on a sun-drenched Saturday here in the Nevada desert. It is absolutely gorgeous, that kind of rough western look. You look, there's mountains to the left, mountains to the front of us. Of course, Nellis Air Force Base off to the right. And, you know, you're talking about fabulous Las Vegas. Go to visitlasvegas.com, right? I did that yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
And so give me day trips, right, where I can go. That's how I wound up in the Mojave Desert. Was a suggestion off visitlasvegas.com.
Nice little drive down Interstate 15, and you wind up in the Golden State and hang out in the Mojave Desert. Beautiful thing to do for sure. So many things happening here with the South Point 400 race weekend. A lot of neat things happening at the South Point Hotel and Casino as well, and I just always love coming here, Mark. This racetrack is an amazing facility, and Patrick Lindsay, who is a new executive vice president and general manager here at Las Vegas, after Chris Powell spent so many years, a few decades here running this facility, now taking it into the next generation. What a great place to be, and I can't wait to come back in the spring, early in the 2026 season.
This is, for me, as a race fan, this would be a great place to come as a race fan, because you come to the racetrack, you get all kinds of great racing and a lot of different things to do here, and then you go to Vegas. Again, you've got all the shows, you got the great restaurants, and then again, all these cool little day trips. I would suggest a race fan, hey, come in 3 or 4 days early, hit the Grand Canyon, you know, hit the Mojave Desert, go to the Valley of Fire. All these things are within driving distance. So I think you could take a vacation and come to the races here as a kind of a destination place. And I think this is what makes Las Vegas Motor Speedway such a cool place to come to.
I would agree with you. Yeah, there's a lot more than what's happening just on the Strip as well. The Hoover Dam, Red Rock Canyon, a lot of great places to hike, and then everything you have on the Strip and things you have at the South Point. In fact, I don't know, Mark, depending on what you're doing later tonight after the Xfinity race, they have the Spasmatics in the showroom and the Texas Troubadours before them at the South Point, so we could be entertained no matter where we go.
Absolutely. There's always a lot to do there. Matter of fact, a lot of times, the first 2 days I was here this week, I never left the hotel. I mean, they got great. I was working on some notes, working on some other things, so I just kind of hacked around my room, came down, had something to eat, took a look around, entertained for a while. So you can kind of go to the hotel at South Point and just never leave and still have a great time.
Pretty much. So Ross Chastain, the only driver under 30 seconds for an average lap time around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That was his fourth lap. He ran a 29.952. The next best lap was Carson Hocevar, a 30.086. And when we look at the tire degradation that we're seeing, with the lap time drop-off, Mark, now we're at about 1.2 seconds of lap time drop-off when it comes to the stopwatch.
180 for Chastain. Last lap, 173. Absolute major drop-off. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
Not only with that drop-off that we're seeing, but the wind is playing into this. According to the drivers that have been out here in this first group of practice, they said the crosswind is a little bit different than normal. That crosswind off of turn 4 into 1. But Ross Chastain says turns 1 and 2 are better for him. He's out there, and I'm hearing now Ross Chastain just got into the wall. He's going to bring it down pit road. We're going to check to see how bad his car is damaged.
All right, thank you, Wendy. He is actually coming to you right now down pit road. You mentioned the wind earlier, Mark. It's actually shifted. It was pointing a little toward turns 1 and 2 and the front stretch grandstands. Now, when we look at a big American flag right in the center of the Nellis back straightaway, that wind is now giving them a tailwind going down the back straightaway, a complete reversal of what we saw just 15 minutes ago.
And it's something, though, that is more normal here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They've dealt with the tailwind before going down the front stretch, and as Ross Chastain talked about, it became not just a headwind, but kind of a crosswind in turns 1 and 2, and that can certainly be a handful. Let's give you a rundown of the 19 drivers, their quickest lap in this practice session. Chastain is number 1, Carson Hocevar second, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. third, Justin Haley is fourth, John Hunter Nemechek fifth, sixth is Kyle Busch, Zane Smith seventh, eighth Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson ninth, 10th is Eric Jones.
Riley Herbst, Las Vegas driver. He is 11th. Austin Cindric is 12th. 13th, Brad Keselowski. Ty Dillon, 14th. 15th is Cole Custer. Austin Dillon, 16th. J.J. Yaley, 17th. Cody Ware, 18th. And Catherine Legg currently is 19th as we have 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go for Group 1. Then we'll have a short break. Group 2 will get out there and have their practice session. And I will be curious, Mark, just to see. Group 2 is all of our 8 current playoff contenders. They actually get the final 8 spots regardless of where they were in the metric. They want to make sure the playoffs drivers are essentially on equal ground when it comes to practice and qualifying out there. You know, you don't want to have a playoffs driver have a bad week one week and all of a sudden they go out and qualify first, and that might put them at a deficit to some of the other playoffs drivers that might be qualifying 31st, 32nd, 33rd, and so on. So what they've done is, whether we're in the round of 8, the round of 12, the round of 16, all of the playoffs drivers are at the back of the metric. Typically, that's a preferred spot, but that keeps them even. So I know Denny Hamlin said he was worried a little bit last week at the Roval thinking about the metric. That's not something he really has to think about. Regardless, he is going to be part of the 8 that go out last.
Now let's go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Ross Chastain has climbed out of his race car. He has a headset on because he's talking to Phil Surgeon right now. That's the best way for these drivers to communicate with their crew chiefs once they step out of the race cars. The right side of the car does have damage from the right rear tire around that wheel well area all the way to the right rear bumper, where it wraps around to the rear bumper, where the decals have been knocked off because he did get into the wall. We're going to try and talk with Ross in just a second to see his perspective of how over the line he might have been. But I do see Cliff Daniels immediately came down here, crew chief of Kyle Larson, to check out the tire, check out the situation of what happened to Ross Chastain.
So right now Chastain, of course, has run the quickest lap. He's quickest in the 5-lap average, second quick in the 10-lap, but also the quickest in the 15-lap average. And when you look at how many laps that he was able to run, and with Chastain, it was 29 laps. Now, the top laps run go to Justin Haley, 35, Austin Cindric, and Riley Herbst have run 35. Noah Gragson has run 33 laps. Hocevar, 29 as well.
Now, heavy tire wear is not unusual here in the opening laps of practice in Las Vegas. And Wendy and Heather are doing a great job of covering everything down there. But people were wondering, Mark, with this new tire, is it going to bring cording in practice? Now, what happens historically at Vegas, you might see that while the lap times are fast in practice and you get excessive tire wear. Once the track starts to rubber in, that goes away, no longer becomes a concern. But, you know, you have to wonder just, is there a point right now where they sort of fall off a cliff. And how much further does that cliff stretch out the more rubber that gets laid into this racing surface?
And again, why it is so much of an advantage to be in that second practice session. These cars have put down some rubber. The more rubber, the less that is a little bit of a problem. And, of course, a little bit more likely that the cars in the second group are going to get a few more laps of goodie out of their tires. Let's go to Heather DeVoe.
And here now with Joey Logano, one of our playoff drivers here. Joey, I see you watching what's happening on track. You're in the second group. What are your areas of focus for you and your team once you get on track, and what do you want to accomplish in this practice session?
Just want to go fast. Pretty simple. When you're in practice here, just got to get a good balance in the car. Make sure you got some speed in and get the heights right. With the bumps and all that, you want to make sure you got something you can kind of maneuver around the racetrack, over the bumps, run the top, run the very, very bottom, see where your car kind of migrates, those type of things. But ultimately, just be fast.
Now you have 4 wins at this racetrack, and with a sense of urgency with the playoffs to lock yourself in early, does that give you any extra confidence going into the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, what you did last year doesn't ever guarantee the future. So, yeah, we just got to, stay focused and doing what we're doing. Stay focused on the 22 like we normally do. And, just take what it gives us, do the best we can with whatever we got, and try to win.
Thank you for your time, Joey. And he will be going out in that second group.
Thank you, Heather. And for Joey Logano, his 4 victories, twice a winner in the spring Pennzoil 400, twice a winner here in the fall South Point 400, and those 2 South Point 400 wins have come over the last 3 seasons, both of which became championship seasons for Joey Logano, his second and third title in the NASCAR Cup Series.
I think maybe the only problem he has this year, it's an odd year. He seems to be able to win championships 2018, 2022, 2024. Odd years haven't been as kind to Joey Logano. Don't know exactly what all that means, but those are the facts, Jack.
Hey, look, we're here in Vegas. A lot of people play on superstition. If you're playing on superstition, that factors in very well. If you're playing on Joey Logano, well, I don't know that race car, I don't know that driver really cares what year it is. For them, this is the year that they're going to win another championship.
And we need to mention at this point, the winner of the race this past spring is a non-playoff driver, Josh Berry, who was very dominant at the end. Of course, he comes out of the Team Penske shops, so how that plays into all this. But, again, we've talked about top 8 and how they need to win and how that would, certainly make a championship run at Phoenix even better, allow them to make a stronger effort. But there's a bunch of other guys out here that would love to go to victory lane, and they're not going to back up too much for the playoff guys.
Yeah, no guarantee that a playoffs driver goes to victory lane. Again, as we whittle down this playoffs field, now we have half of the 16 that started the postseason as championship contenders. And with this weekend kicking off the round of 8, Mark, I'm looking down on pit road, and we have a handful of the pit boxes set up for the Xfinity Series race. Just to give you a visual, the Cup Series cars basically are using the center section of pit road for practice. So the turn 1 side of pit road, the turn 4 side of pit road, already have Xfinity Series pit boxes set up. On top of these pit boxes are awnings, and just to illustrate what we're talking about with the amount of wind that we have here, I'm looking at Eric Almirola's pit box, which if you can envision the Legends car track here on the front straightaway at Las Vegas, that would be right there at turn number 2. That awning, someone right now is trying a little extra hard to secure it down because it looked like the fabric of that awning was about to blow off.
Again, the wind is picked up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Again, as you look at the flagpole out there on the Nellis back straightaway, it is now blowing straight down the back straightaway, and the top of the pole bending just a bit, sort of like a fish on the hook, kind of bending it just a bit. And that always tells us the wind has picked up now. That's got to be a wind that's somewhere between 30, 35 miles an hour to bend that pole. And so we're getting some big gusts here right now, and that certainly can play into how these cars handle.
Black and red flags are out right now. This signifies the end of Group 1 practice. The last few cars are going down as we go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Ross Chastain is just still having some words with Phil Surgeon, and he's giving me just one more moment, guys. He's just giving me the finger. He's finishing his words, and he has his hands giving him some motions to Phil Surgeon, exactly what happened. I did check out the right side tires. There was a little tiny cord on the right rear tire, so we're going to ask Ross about that to see if he felt that wear and tear as he finishes his final words with Phil Surgeon. He's taking off his headset. Thank you graciously for your time, Ross. Thanks for the patience here. I see a little cord showing on the tire. Did you feel any indication, being the fastest car out there and the one with a little cosmetic damage on the right side?
No, Wendy. No, the tires held up well. Yeah, it's different to be back in Group A. When I moved around there, I tried to clean the top off, and for our Tootsie Chevy, I overstepped the grip level there for Group A, I think. So it wasn't the tire's fault. That was definitely the driver there. So, yeah, we'll see how much damage I gave it. I see paint in the wheel, which is never good when this bright yellow paint is in our aluminum wheels. So, yeah, other than that, though, the Tootsie Chevy, obviously fast and just get back on the horse this week.
When you say you were cleaning off the top, for the fans at home listening, because you were Group A, nobody had been up there, describe what that means and what that feels like as a driver, where it's a very fine line.
Yeah, I watched Xfinity practice and qualifying, and seeing some of them come to the green. They run the very top, trying to build as much momentum, and there's a dust trail coming off, like a vapor trail, but it's real dust. It's desert sand out here in the desert in Nevada. So I crept up there a little bit, and it felt pretty clean, and then I was really ripping up there and felt pretty good, and just overstepped. And it warned me the lap before, and I didn't take the warning. So, just there's dirt, there's dust, there's sand. The wind is ripping in the high teens, almost 20 miles an hour out here, and not a lot of vegetation to knock it down back to the ground. So definitely overstepped for what the potential was. Broke traction there and got in the wall.
All right, thanks for your time. That's Ross getting a little risky here at Las Vegas with the paint going all the way into the wheel well here on pit road. Heather DeBow.
And Carson Hocevar just laid down the second fastest lap time out there. So tell us a little bit about your car. How's it handling, and did you accomplish what you wanted to?
I think so. I think we got a good read on it. I like our car here in the spring, so we just want to make sure it still drove similar. It's different tire, but similar setups and similar everything behind, the mechanics of it. And it drove pretty similar, which was ultimately the goal, and I think we should have a good idea come race time. I don't know if we're going to qualify great. With our qualifying draw, it tends to be super, super important here. But the biggest thing is our drivability in the race.
Now, we have a little bit of a crosswind happening out there. Can you kind of describe to our listeners what that feels like behind the wheel?
Yeah, it makes it inconsistent. I don't know how best to describe it other than if you roll your window down and you can feel the pressure from a semi next to you on the highway or a minivan or something. So there's a big difference how the air moves around, and that's kind of similar, but you're doing it at 160 here, so it shows up a little bit more and becomes darty and inconsistent of how you want to position your car in the corner. So that's just technical.
A great analogy there from Carson Hocevar, who is P2 on the board in practice.
Thank you very much, Heather. We appreciate that. The teams that were in Group 1, they actually have 7 minutes left to make adjustments before they have to get their hands off of the cars when they get ready to qualify. The teams in Group 2 have 7 minutes before they hit the track for practice. Group 1, Ross Chastain was the fastest, the only driver sub 30 seconds at 29.952. Carson Hocevar second quick. Third was Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Haley fourth. Fifth, John Hunter Nemechek. Kyle Busch sixth. Seventh, Zane Smith. Eighth, Todd Gilliland. Noah Gragson 9th, and 10th, Eric Jones.
11th was Riley Herbst, Austin Cindric 12th, 13th, Brad Keselowski with Ty Dillon 14th, 15th, Cole Custer, Cody Ware 16th, 17th, Austin Dillon, J.J. Yeley 18th, Catherine Legg in the 19th position.
Group 2 practice coming up next, but first we're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Coming up, Group 2 drivers will hit the track here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for practice, which includes our round of 8 playoffs drivers here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Joey Logano here for Hunt Brothers Pizza, where you can choose from 10 toppings, all at no extra charge. In a hurry, call ahead to place your order or grab a hunk of pizza on the go. Follow me on the track all season long and visit huntbrotherspizza.com to find your next pizza.
By downloading the free PRN mobile app, you can listen to all of our live race broadcast anywhere. You'll also have easy access to all of our award-winning studio shows. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app.
In addition to traditional summer camp, Victory Junction also hosts family weekends, partner programs, and day camps. And the Victory Junction Outreach Program takes camp fun beyond our gates to children at hospitals and partner sites throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Victory Junction makes the impossible accessible.
This is a place that needs to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are never going to run out of kids that can benefit from Victory Junction.
Discover how you can get involved at victoryjunction.org.
Group 2 practice coming up for the South Point 400. You're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Get your NASCAR fix with PRN's Garage Pass.
It's hard to just turn it around in 1 week, but I wouldn't be shocked if we did.
I don't think the results have been what we have hoped for or expected, but I think the potential in the cars and the speed has been pretty good.
It's a big deal already, so that's a big positive for us. So I think now it's just about working together and getting better.
I think the Penske cars are still elite when it comes to plate racing.
Hi, I'm Mark Garrow, tracking the latest racing news every weekday.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Practice and qualifying for the South Point 400. Brad Gilley alongside Mark Garrow. Wendy Venturini, Heather DeBow covering everything for us trackside on pit road. Coming up 7 o'clock Eastern time tonight. That is 4 o'clock local time here in Las Vegas. We'll go on the air for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Focused Health 302, where Junior Motorsports has claimed the front row with Justin Allgaier winning the pole and Connor Zillich joining him on the outside of row number 1. And Mark, for the Xfinity Series, like the Cup Series, this is their first race in the round of 8.
And again, they would love to get off to a great start. Joe Gibbs Racing makes up row number 2 with Brandon Jones, Eric Almirola later on. And then sort of welcome North Carolina represented row 3, Nick Sanchez on the inside, of course, with Jesse Love from RCR on the outside. So it's kind of an interesting, certainly top 6 or 8, 10 cars.
Yeah, Nick Sanchez with that big machine racing car. He was fast in practice. He was fast in qualifying. A nice kind of a royal blue number 48 that they brought here this weekend. Great-looking race car and a lot of speed. So be kind of interesting to see how all of that works out for them once we drop the green flag on the Focused Health 302 later today.
Big race, and, Connor Zillich is red hot. I'm not even sure. Sizzling. I mean, I don't know what adjectives you use for the hot streak that he has had and has been on, but he just cannot stop winning races. Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And down here now with Legacy Motor Club, everybody's got a headset on, but John Hunter Nemechek, I saw a lot of head nodding. It almost looked like you guys were listening to music. But can you kind of give the viewers an insight on what you all were talking about and in these debriefs after you're done with practice session?
Yeah, we're just going through our first round and second round. We only made one change there. Eric made 2 or 3. So just trying to figure out the direction that we want for qualifying here. That's really all that matters right here in this moment. We'll debrief about race trim a little bit later, but trying to decipher our fire-off balance, what I struggled with to go faster, and trying to make the right adjustments so that we can go here and try and qualify really good. Feel good about our Pie Barker Toyota Camry XSE this weekend. I love the new paint scheme with the pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and here in October. So excited to see where we stack up today in qualifying. It seems like the guys have brought a really fast car, just like we have a lot of 1.5 miles this year. So it's going to be up to me to go execute qualifying, have a really solid run, and go race tomorrow.
All right, that's John Hunter Nemechek, who was 5th on the board in Group 1. Wendy Venturini.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek talked about a cool paint scheme. Another one down here, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has real American beer in the patriotic red, white, and blue American flag. And he's fast this weekend, Ricky Stenhouse, 3rd in this practice. What did the track give to you, and was that high lane usable for you?
I ran decently high on 1 and 2. There at the end, I ran
probably the middle there in 3 and 4. Made an adjustment in the middle of practice. It probably kind of went the wrong way for us. I felt really good firing off. Just needed a little bit of rear grip, and then I think we kind of lost some grip there with the adjustment we did. So, I think we learned a little bit there going into the race for tomorrow. Hopefully our Real American Beer Chevrolet can be as fast as we were right there in practice. Come qualifying, I mean, starting position is very important here. And we saw last time we were here, qualifying was so tight. I think it was like 0.3 from like 5th to 30th. So it's going to be a tight qualifying session. The wind changed directions a couple times there throughout that practice, which made it tricky. We all know the wind here at Vegas is wild. So we'll pay attention to that. But so far, a good start.
We heard about that crosswind from a lot of drivers and how much it was changing wind direction. How much will the track change throughout this weekend as we go into tomorrow's race?
Yeah, there'll be a lot more rubber down, especially after the Xfinity race tonight, and then we'll be all over the place come tomorrow. I think right now everybody's comfortable with the middle groove of the racetrack and in the bottom of 3 and 4. Middle groove was fine in 3 and 4 there at the end. Still a little dirty at the top. I think you saw the one get a little too high there, but it should be a good weekend.
All right, that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He was 3rd in practice.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. We've got Group 2 out on track right now. They are getting their cars warmed up, getting the tires heated up just a little bit. They're about to cross the start-finish line for the first time and start to get on the gas. Denny Hamlin, the first one out. He's got the purple car this week, the AM/PM sponsorship, followed by Christopher Bell and then teammate Chase Briscoe. More playoffs drivers coming across with Ryan Blaney. And last year's winner, Joey Logano, as they're getting up to speed, Mark.
Also watching the HendrickCars.com Chevy of Kyle Larson. He is in total camouflage. The car is black, has his sponsor in gold, the number in gold on the side. A drastically different paint scheme for Kyle Larson.
How about this? We're next to Nellis Air Force Base, so we're going to call it Stealth this weekend. It's kind of a flat black, and it is a HendrickCars.com. On the hood of that, it's got the Zach Brown Band, who are playing at the Sphere here at Las Vegas. But if it were not for that gold reflective number 5 on the side, we might completely lose it like a stealth bomber on radar.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be difficult to pick up and get used to for a lot of race fans on Sunday. The good thing is usually just keep your eye on the front. He'll be up someplace in that direction, so that'll help out a little bit.
Yeah, he's done fairly well here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with a couple of victories. So as the cars are on the track right now among this group, Christopher Bell is actually the second quick. His teammate Ty Gibbs is fastest, just a tick slower than Ross Chastain. Now Ty Gibbs actually goes to the top. William Byron goes to second quick overall. Mentioned Christopher Bell, Mark, the last 2 fall races here at Vegas. Started on the pole, finished second in both of them. They have been the most dominant car here, even though they've not made it to victory lane.
And he's been the most frustrated driver the last 2 races here in the fall because he felt both times he had the car to win. Woulda, coulda, shoulda won and didn't get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no woulda, coulda, shouldas. You did or you didn't, and they didn't. And William Byron's looking kind of sporty now. He actually just drove underneath Kyle Larson in turns 1 and 2 to get around him as Byron is chasing around. Now Joey Logano would be the next one if he's actually trying to go out there and pick off cars. But Ty Gibbs the fastest in this group, fastest overall, followed by William Byron, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain from Group 1, 7th quick, Kyle Larson in Group 2, 8th quick, Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman round out the top 10. Mark, there is a definite trend here in the top 10. Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolets, all 4 of them in the top 10 right now.
Also, you look at Gibbs, currently number 1. Then you have Hamlin, Wallace Reddick from 2311 Racing, Briscoe from JGR. So you've got right now, it looks like 5 Toyotas in the top 7.
Interesting. So Kansas Speedway a few weeks ago, Toyota dominated that race. They actually had 5 of them lined up in the top 5 going to the green, white checker finish. It turned out that a lot of battling on the racetrack. The Chevy of Chase Elliott was able to win. But the one thing we didn't see much of is the Fords. The fastest Ford right now, Ryan Blaney, 17th overall, Mark.
And that is certainly a surprise given how Ford has kind of dominated the fall here recently with Joey Logano in the South Point 400. But I really like the way the Toyotas looked at Kansas as a group. They certainly were all running up front, as you just documented. And Bubba Wallace talked about this last week where he said, Denny and I doing our thing. He said, the worst part is a Toyota didn't win. He said, we gave Chase an alley-oop. We gave him an easy basket. And he said, we shouldn't have done that. He goes, but he wasn't really mad at Denny for what happened at Kansas as far as getting pushed up the racetrack. The fact that one of them didn't win, that's the rule. Kevin Harvick talked about it. That's going to happen. One of you's got to win. A Toyota's got to win, and that didn't happen.
By the way, I mentioned William Byron was chasing Joey Logano. He was about 20 car lengths back. He is now passing him coming off of turn number 2. If that helps illustrate, in just a couple of laps, Byron was able to catch the defending winner and the reigning champion and drive past him right now. We find Joey Logano 28th overall in speed here in practice, Mark.
Best lap, only 178 miles an hour. You have Ty Gibbs on top at 181.7. That's over 3.7 miles per hour. That's a huge gap, and you don't make that up very easily.
No, you don't. Again, this is not a fast car contest. It's a race, and we'll see who can race the best. Wendy Venturini, what do you know from pit road?
Kyle Larson has just come back down pit road. He put on 6 laps out here at Las Vegas in practice, and he said it's too loose. I have to bring it in. And it was very simple to the point, but he did not feel comfortable in the car. Currently 9th on the practice chart, but they're going to bring it in, make some adjustments by Cliff Daniels so he can get back out there. A very loose race car for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, we talked about Kyle having a stealthy look on the paint scheme this weekend. His teammate William Byron, always in the round of 8, kind of sneaky. He's made the championship for the last 2 years. And he doesn't get a lot of necessarily fanfare. He doesn't create a lot of noise, but he gets the job done this time of year.
Yeah, the big question is, can you 10th and 12th place your way into the championship round? That's where they've been throughout most of the playoffs. I think you're going to need more than that, but this is a track. William Byron, actually among the playoffs drivers, has the best average finish at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the next-gen car, but that's second best among all drivers. The best among all drivers, well, he'll join us for the broadcast of the Focused Health 302. Ross Chastain, his next-gen average here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 5.4. But again, talking about William Byron among the playoffs drivers, they need to make something happen in this round.
Again, so tight. The points are just crazy tight for the Cup Series as they enter this round of 8. So right now, Ty Gibbs, 181.733 is the fastest lap. And again, want to remind you, in the spring, 186.961. Michael McDowell capturing the pole. If you go back to last fall, Christopher Bell took the top spot at 185.344. So we are nowhere near either of those two pole speeds.
Yeah, and it's all Toyotas and Chevys in the top 10. Now the highest Ford, Chris Buescher, he is sitting at 11th. Ty Gibbs is the fastest. He went fastest on his third lap. He's made 12 of them now. And, in fact, we look at the top 8 cars now. They are all sub 30 seconds with Ty Gibbs at a 29.7. He is fastest. Ross Chastain at 29.9. He is 8th quick. We heard Ricky Stenhouse Jr. telling Heather DeBow just how tight things can be here at Las Vegas. When it comes to lap times, we're seeing that play out again here today, Mark.
Absolutely, and as a reminder of the top 10 qualifiers back in the spring, we're talking about Toyota dominating right now. 5 Chevys, 4 Fords, a lone Toyota in the top 10 of our fastest 10 qualifiers here in the spring at Vegas. Michael McDowell, I mentioned on the pole. Then Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, the top 5. 6 to 10, Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, William Byron, Zane Smith, Kyle Larson. So Eric Jones, the only Toyota to make the top 10 back in the spring.
Christopher Bell just swung wide of teammate Denny Hamlin in turns 1 and 2. He was able to complete that pass, and Mark looking right behind a trio of Joe Gibbs cars now. The third one of that is Chase Briscoe. Looks like he's actually catching Denny on the racetrack as they're coming back across the start-finish line, and let's see what they can do. Briscoe appears to have a lot of speed here as well.
Chase Briscoe has had a lot of speed all season long. He's won the most pole positions with 7. And, again, that car from the get-go has had the speed, and later on in the season seems to gel. They've been able to execute races, and, of course, that meant a trip to victory lane.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe has pretty much run well where he's historically run well, and now he's running well where the 19 Toyota has run well. And if you go back and look at stats at a lot of these tracks, these are all tracks where Martin Truex Jr. performed well. And now Briscoe has almost caught the back bumper of Denny Hamlin in just another lap. He's about 3-4 car lengths off the back of it, Mark. Briscoe is faster than the 11.
Bell used the middle. Going through turns 1 and 2, Denny was on the bottom. Briscoe was up a little bit higher, so all three of the Gibbs Toyotas using a different groove through 1 and 2. In 3 and 4, Bell and Hamlin on the bottom. Again, mid-track for Chase Briscoe.
15 minutes left in Group 2 practice here as the cars continue to make their way around. The three Joe Gibbs Toyota playoffs teammates all out there running together. Their other teammate, Ty Gibbs, who is not in the playoffs, he's way back of this, but Ty Gibbs is the fastest on the racetrack here, and it's really interesting, Mark. A lot of times practice is what lap time can we get? Today they're kind of out there racing. Heather DeBow.
And we just talked to Joey Logano prior to him getting in his race car, and he said he wants to go fast, but right now, not fast for the 22. He's 28th on the board, and his communication to his crew chief, Paul Wolf, he said, I'm really loose, but the bigger issue is I'm rolling the left front, which is pushing me up the racetrack. So they're making adjustments right now on that 22 of Logano. They might have to take a bigger swing than they thought going into this initially, but not what Joey wanted based on what he told us.
This is also working against him as far as his lap count. He's run only 13 laps, while guys like Byron and Gibbs have run 18. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Claire. She loves her motorcycle, and she's learned to love the insects she encounters on her rides. She may not know the difference between a gnat and a mosquito at 55 miles per hour, but she does know one thing. It's always gross when one flies into her mouth. But she's so used to it that it's weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Hi, this is PRN's Brett McMillan. You don't spend your life just sitting around, so what you need is PRN's mobile app. By downloading the mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. If you download it today, you get station listening and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Download today. Available at the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Curious about what drivers talk about during the race? You can purchase a scanner and listen to uncensored audio from every team in the race. Stop by and see Racing Electronics in the vendor area today or learn more at racingelectronics.com. And when you're at track, you can catch your friends at the Performance Racing Network or the Motor Racing Network on frequency 454.2000 this season. From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Brett McMillan. The opinions fly fast and furious each week on the Pit Reporters.
Every other major league sport has a playoff system, so I think the playoff system should stay. I do think there's maybe slight middle ground where there could be some changes that are made.
I do remember seasons where this championship had been decided well before the last few races, so it just isn't quite the same vibe that we have now.
Join us each week for the Pit Reporters.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Group 2 practice for the South Point 400 NASCAR Cup Series race in underway right now. We have, looking at the clock, 10 minutes left. Brad Gilley alongside Mark Garrow. Ty Gibbs the fastest. He is not a playoffs contender. Among our playoffs contenders, William Byron second quick, Chase Elliott third quick, Denny Hamlin fourth quick overall, Chase Briscoe seventh quick, Kyle Larson ninth quick, Christopher Bell 10th quick overall. The Team Penske cars, they're the ones in the basement among the playoffs drivers. Ryan Blaney 17th and Joey Logano 28th. That's a huge deficit, Mark.
Not just a little off, way off. And that has got to be concerning right now for Paul Wolf and that entire team.
Yeah, it is. By comparison to the rest of the field, no question about that for sure. So as practice is winding down here, we'll get qualifying underway. And it's always fun hanging out in Las Vegas. It's always fun hanging out while we're here today. Coming up for the Focustel 302, we're going to have a couple more announcers joining us here. You've already heard from Heather DeBow and Wendy Venturini. Brett McMillan will join them on pit road. Up in the turns, we'll have Nick Yeoman and Pat Patterson, who Pat's right behind us, giving a tour to Rick Brandt up here, the sponsor of Justin Allgaier's car. Gentlemen, hope y'all are doing well.
Pat has the princess wave down there, whatever he was doing. There we go. That was nice. The retirement wave. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, speaking of, Mark, this is your last race weekend here with the Performance Racing Network. Yeah. And, we had a nice little celebration at Charlotte at the Roval. Great to see a lot of your family there with you. And Looking forward to winding it down in a big way here this weekend.
Absolutely. Started out with the ARCA 200 Busch Clash with Motor Racing Network in 1982. And we'll finish it up with the South Point 400 here in 2025. So it's been a little bit of this and that between there and there.
Yeah, going to be pretty awesome to see the finishes that you're going to get to call here this weekend. So, again, cars on the racetrack. Ty Gibbs was way back of his Joe Gibbs Racing teammates, and we already saw Denny Hamlin get passed by Christopher Bell. We saw Denny Hamlin get passed by Chase Briscoe. Now, Hamlin is 4th overall. Mark, we might see Denny Hamlin get passed by Ty Gibbs as well, and Gibbs was about a half a straightaway behind him what seems like just a few laps ago.
Ty Gibbs has had his moments this year where you thought this might be the day that first Cup victory is going to come his way, and it just didn't work out. But he's had a lot of speed this year, and that team still learning, I think, to execute from green flag to checkered flag. And when they get that all figured out, he's going to find his way to victory lane.
Yeah, and by the way, Ty Gibbs just passed Denny Hamlin, but here's the key. It's not how fast you go overall. It's not how fast you are on lap 1. It's about how fast you're going to be around lap 60 when you're starting to think about making a pit stop. When it comes to managing tire wear, Denny Hamlin in that Toyota is one of the best out there. So what he's working on, well, that might be something different than what teammates are working on right now.
Again, Denny kind of reminding me of Kevin Harvick back in the day. Could care less where he was on the speed chart. He wanted this certain feel in his backside when he got that in his race car. Could care less whether he was first on the running order or 30th. Denny Hamlin certainly the same way right now. How do I want this thing to feel? 20, 30 laps into a run. Am I feeling that now? And if I am, I'm happy. It doesn't matter where I am in the running order.
All right, so when it comes to consistency now, Mark, the best driver over 5, 10, 15 laps, who are we looking at?
William Byron, Willie B. And right behind him is Bubba Wallace in the 5-lap average, Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe in the 10-lap. And then Ross Chastain still hanging in, though, in that 15-lap average from the Group 1 practice. Briscoe third quick, but William Byron, 5, 10, 15-lap average. He's number 1. You look on the speed chart, second fastest lap overall. Good practice for William Byron.
Absolutely. Look, this is the time of year where you need to be hot. Byron was hot at the beginning of the season, a big win in the Daytona 500. That locked him into playoffs contention. Now that we get to the round of 8, this is where you have to step up. And today, it's been Toyotas and Chevrolets so far stepping up in practice. Ty Gibbs is the fastest overall, 29.714. William Byron, second quick overall. Third, Chase Elliott. Fourth, Denny Hamlin. Fifth, Bubba Wallace. Sixth, Tyler Reddick. Chase Briscoe, 7th. Ross Chastain, 8th overall. Ross Chastain, the 8th driver under 30 seconds at 29.9. Kyle Larson, 9th at a 30.013. Christopher Bell rounds out the top 10.
Now you look at the rest of it. Chris Buescher has run the 11th fastest lap. Alex Bowman, 12th. Carson Hocevar from the Group 1 practice, 13th, 14th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Haley from the first group as well, 15th. Then in this group, 16th overall, A.J. Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, 17th, 18th, Daniel Suarez. Michael McDowell has run the 19th fastest lap. John Hunter Nemechek, 20th.
And let's keep going because we still have one playoffs driver yet to talk about. Kyle Busch is 21st, 22nd, Zane Smith, 23rd, Todd Gilliland, 24th, Noah Gragson, 25th, Eric Jones, 26th, Riley Herbst, 27th, Austin Cindric. And then there's Joey Logano. Comes into this race this weekend, minus 24 to the cut line, 28th quick in practice as our reigning and defending champion, and the defending winner of the South Point 400.
And I'm a little bit surprised by 29th, Brad Keselowski. He has had a lot of success here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 30th is Ryan Preece. Last week's dominant winner, Shane Van Gisbergen, has run the 31st quickest lap. Then it's Ty Dillon, 32nd, Cole Custer, 33rd, 34th, Josh Berry, Cody Ware, 35th, Austin Dillon, 36th, J.J. Yeley, 37th, and Catherine Legg in 38th as we go down to Heather DeBow.
And William Byron showing some speed today. He has the fastest average in 5-lap run, 10-lap run, and 15. He's currently second on the board, and his communication to the team was, I'm happy with the car, except for this headwind is my biggest issue. So he does not want to over-adjust that 24 in case if the wind is different tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much, Heather DeBow, for that report. The wind still pointing straight down the Nellis straightaway from turn 2 directly to turn 3. That flagpole is still bent out there, so that means they have the wind pushing them into turn number 3, the wind pushing along the side of those cars in turns 3 and 4. That does make a difference when they hit the front straightaway. That's when they have the headwind as they dive it back off into turns 1 and 2, where you hear a lot about how pronounced the bumps are here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So just under 4 minutes to go in Group 2 practice here for the South Point 400. Then we'll have a short 10-minute break before we line them up to qualify for the race. And you're going to hear from a lot of these drivers with Heather DeBow and Wendy Venturini down there covering things trackside. Again, the interesting thing to me, Joey Logano, 28th right now. I don't know that we expected to see that mark, but we heard the report from pit road. Felt like the left front tire was rolling over on him a little bit. Typically, they're pretty aggressive with those air pressures on the left, meaning they have what we would consider flat tires on our passenger car. That's what they send them out to run with at 200 miles per hour.
And again, I'm looking at the lap count. He's run 26 laps. Some of these guys have run, like Ty Gibbs has run 36, Byron 33. Gives you a more accurate feel of what you've got, so the fact that, Joey's in there, they're making adjustments, that's also meaning they're not getting the laps the other drivers are, and maybe getting a better feel for the drop-off of these tires.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Every race during this round of 8 is going to tell a different story. Right now, we're seeing Chevrolets and Fords up at the top of the speed chart. Next week, we go to Talladega Superspeedway. That is where the Roush 8's horsepower and the Fords have had a lot of performance out there. Then we go to Martinsville Speedway, and again, that's anyone's game. Denny Hamlin, among the active drivers on the schedule, he's won more at Martinsville Speedway in that Toyota than any other active driver. But we've seen Joey Logano have strength there and win races. We've seen Kyle Larson. That was one of his worst tracks at one point. Now it's become one of his best. William Byron. Ryan Blaney has won his way through to the championship round in each of the last 2 seasons, converting it to a title back in 2023. If we get to Martinsville, heck, we might not even have one of the round of 8 drivers locked in with the win. We don't know that yet, and all 8 of these drivers could perform well and potentially win that race.
The pressure at Martinsville, the 800-pound gorilla times 10, I mean, it is enormous. Especially if you go there and you have to win. If you are backed against the fence and you absolutely have no other way to Phoenix but go to victory lane at Martinsville, the pressure is really on at that particular point. No doubt about it.
It is for sure. The playoffs driver that's run the most laps in practice here so far today, Christopher Bell. He's been out there for 38 laps. A lot of drivers have been out there for 34, 36 laps, and I can't help but think about C. Bell again. The fall race here, the South Point 400. Bell, in each of the last 2 seasons, won the pole and finished second. You have to think that he and Adam Stevens are coming to this with a lot of enthusiasm and optimism.
Again, especially the way they ran at Kansas with this tire. So not only have they been strong at Las Vegas, but they had a shot to win at Kansas as well. Again, that certainly has to be a big boost all the way around. Christopher Bell could not have been more disappointed the last 2 fall races at Vegas. Felt both times left the racetrack with what he thought was a winning car.
And you think about what happened last year at Martinsville Speedway, end of the race, A lot of different things happening. He ends up riding the wall for about half a corner, similar to what Chastain did for a full 2 corners, and ends up getting a penalty. That move is illegal now. He missed the championship 4. This was another missed opportunity here with the way the strategy played out as well. Winding down the final 15 seconds here in practice for the South Point 400. And again, we don't expect to see any change here at the top of the speed chart. Ty Gibbs, the fastest overall, followed by William Byron, 2nd, Chase Elliott, 3rd, 4th, Denny Hamlin, 5th, Bubba Wallace, 6th, Tyler Reddick, 7th, Chase Briscoe. Ross Chastain, he's the fastest driver from Group 1, 8th quick overall. Kyle Larson, 9th quick. Christopher Bell rounding out the top 10.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR. From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
In addition to traditional summer camp, Victory Junction also hosts family weekends, partner programs, and day camps. And the Victory Junction Outreach Program takes camp fun beyond our gates to children at hospitals and partner sites throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Victory Junction makes the impossible accessible.
This is a place that needs to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are never going to run out of kids that can benefit from Victory Junction.
Discover how you can get involved at victoryjunction.org.
The cars from Group 2 here today in practice are on the 10-minute clock to make their adjustments before we go qualify for the South Point 400. From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me every Monday night for another great episode of Fast Talk.
I watched the race on TV, and they wanted to give him the mantle of greatest of all time, and he's won 4 races in a row. And so I can't do that yet. But I do think what we're watching is a guy who's changing the sport. He's changing the way the other drivers approach road racing. He's making them study. He's making them up their game.
That's Fast Talk right here on the Performance Racing Network.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We're back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the calm before the storm. That will be pole qualifying for the South Point 400. Group 1 and 2 have completed their practice sessions. And again, just a momentary delay, and we'll start qualifying for tomorrow's race. Ty Gibbs, the quickest on top, not only looking for his first win, looking for his first pole position this season. Teammate Chase Briscoe currently leads the way in that category, Brad with 7. Shane Van Gisbergen on the road courses has gathered up 3, but you also look at Denny Hamlin with 3. Also, Christopher Bell has a pole position as well, so 11 pole positions right now for Joe Gibbs Racing.
That's impressive. And again, what Chase Briscoe and James Small, his crew chief, have been able to do there, that number 19 Toyota, has just been incredible. We're watching teams from Group 2 feverishly work on their cars. They have about 7.5 minutes left, actually 7, NASCAR just called it, on the clock to make their adjustments. And these are limited adjustments they can make between practice and qualifying, Mark. And the one thing they're not allowed to do is put all 4 wheels off the ground. They can only jack up one side of the race car at a time. The reason being shock adjustments and things like that, you're not allowed to do. So when you got that car up in the air, with different things that are connecting both sides, you're very limited as to what you can do. Plus, they have officials watching at every single car. But it doesn't matter if you're William Byron, one of the fastest, to Joey Logano, among the playoffs drivers, the slowest. The teams are working feverishly to get those cars converted to what the crew chiefs want for a fast qualifying lap.
And they have their normal routine, right? Each pit crew member there has a designated job or two during this time to get done and make sure the car is race ready for qualifying. And that work being done, as you talked about, feverishly right now down on pit road.
You know, we talked about Kyle Larson's stealth black paint scheme with gold numbers on his number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Zach Brown Band at the Sphere is what's on the hood of that race car. All the Hendrick cars have a different paint scheme this weekend. Chase Elliott has the white Napa colors. William Byron has a car that's black on the hood, white and green on the sides. And the Ally Chevrolet of Alex Bowman's a green car this weekend as we go back down to pit road and Heather DeBow.
And Brad, just down here waiting for some drivers to debrief before we get some interviews in, but I'm checking out the tires on the 45 of Tyler Reddick. They actually stopped their practice session a little bit early because he was plowing tight, but looking at the right front, they actually popped a cord on the inside of that tire. So we were talking about tire wear here. If you're tight, looks like that's going to be an issue, but the 45 not looking good. We'll try to see if we can get a word with Tyler or maybe even his teammate Bubba, who was 5th in that practice session.
Thank you, Heather. Now, when you're cording the inside of the right front, with the camber on the cars, the tires on the right side, the top of the tire is tilted in. So that means the inside, when they're going down the straightaway, is what's actually hitting the racetrack. And the reason why they cord is when you're getting up to about 200 miles per hour at the end of the straightaway, you only have about a 2-inch contact patch on that 12-inch tire, so it's just wearing the inner shoulder of that tire. That's why you see cording on the inside. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
I'm with Christopher Bell. Christopher ran more laps than anyone in this practice session, about 38 laps. You were just going over some iPad footage with Eric Almirola. What have you learned so far in this practice session?
I learned that the rim camera is pretty close. I'm pretty happy with it. It seems like I don't know, it does a lot of things right. So, yeah, I think we'll be in the game.
10th fastest in this practice session. I saw a little bit of cords, not much. Is that anything of a concern for you, or the tire kind of going away on fall off for you?
I know it normally gets better in the race, so I don't think so. I'm pretty content.
All right, give me the report on the wind. A lot of people were talking about the crosswind. What did you feel?
Yeah, it just makes the car a little bit unpredictable. 1 and 2 seems like it's got a little bit more grip. 3 and 4 has a little bit of less. So, yeah, you catch a gust in the wrong way, it can get you in trouble.
All right, thanks for your input. That's Christopher Bell, 10th fastest, and he feels pretty confident about his race car here at Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you very much, Heather DeBow. When we come back, let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And catching up now with Tyler Reddick, we were just talking about the tires. I saw you go and take a look at the tires, heard you were plowing tight. Tell us what you were dealing with there in that 45 machine.
I mean, we were a little tight. Yeah, I mean, I thought, like, we took off pretty good. Yeah, fighting the tighter balance for sure. Just we got I don't know if I was lucky or I was just really honed in on what was going on with the car. We had like a kind of a rough 3 and 4. I went into 1 and 2 and got real tight, about to hit the wall. So I just trusted my gut, and we pit. And yeah, we had some cords, but honestly, I mean, it can be expected. In practice conditions, I pretty much gave up on running the bottom very quick, so I was running a lot of laps up top. So yeah, tires wear, it's part of it, but I was pretty happy with our speed. I know we can make our balance a little bit better, and if we can do that, then we're curious to see how that translates into more speed for us on Sunday.
Now, this track changes a lot throughout the course of a race. Are there any other concerns you're worried about besides just tire wear here in Las Vegas?
The only one I can think of, it does always seem to be very windy when we're here, and that always is something that seems to play some sort of a role in, what your car doesn't want to do. So, yeah, I feel like everyone's got a pretty good idea of that, and we'll just keep our eye on it. It does seem like it has been picking up the last couple of minutes.
All right, that's Tyler Reddick, who will be headed out for qualifying here shortly.
Thank you very much, Heather. When we come back, we'll be qualifying for the South Point 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
This is Kyle Petty for Echo Park Automotive. As you might imagine, I know a thing or two about cars, and I'm here to tell you about a whole new way to buy a car, truck, or SUV. Did you know that Echo Park Automotive has over 95,000 five-star reviews? On top of that, every car that Echo Park Automotive sells goes through a 190-point inspection to make sure that it looks and drives like new, so you leave happy. It's even in their name, Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. The official used car dealer of Speedway Motorsports.
Hi, it's PRN's Brad Gilley. Did you know you could take PRN with you anywhere? That's right. By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. Download today for station listings and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, The Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Download today, available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Coming up, qualifying for the South Point 400, and you're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Grab a friend and pack the cooler. Saturday Night Racing returns to North Wilkesboro Speedway October 18th for the Z-Max Cars Tour Championship. See rising stars like Keelan Harvick compete against short track racing's best in season finals for Pro Late Model Stock, and the Smart Modified Tour. Party down North Wilkesboro style with the Z-Max Cars Tour Saturday, October 18th. For tickets, visit northwilkesborospeedway.com.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Qualifying for the South Point 400 is underway. J.J. Yaley, the first car on the track, as he comes off of turn number 4, midway up the banking of the racetrack, he will see the green flag. He'll be the first car under the clock here at Las Vegas. Drops it all the way down to the apron before sailing it off into turn number 2. J.J. Yaley in the number 44 car this weekend, Mark.
And he's going to be followed by Catherine Legg, local driver Riley Herbst, Cody Ware, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Noah Gregson, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, Eric Jones. They are going to be the first 10 out in qualifying for the South Point 400.
Once again, J.J. Yaley on his time lap, midway up the banking in turns 3 and 4, tries to drop it all the way down to the apron. He'll take the checkered flag. The first time set here in practice, or in qualifying rather, a 30.661 miles per hour. Now, to contrast that to practice, Mark, earlier today he went a 30.833, so 0.2 of a second faster for J.J. Yaley. Does that mean the track is faster? Is that just a qualifying setup?
Well, it's qualifying setup, and you amp up just a little bit to get your qualifying lap in for the South Point 400 as well. You know, coming into this race, 15 different pole sitters we've had this season, 30 qualifying sessions. Only twice we've been rained out, once at Dover, which we experienced that bad weather, and then the other time in the second race at Daytona. Let's go to Heather DeBow.
And here now with Chase Elliott, who had top 5 speed there in that practice session. But I heard you say on the radio, gave some feedback that you were skeptical of the snap. So can you tell us what you were talking about there?
Just needing to get a little more comfort, I think, in the car, just a little bit, at least from a longer run perspective. So we'll kind of go to work on that tonight. But right now, just trying to figure our adjustments for going fast for a lap, because that's all we work on today, right? So then we can go study the rest of it later. So hopefully we guessed right. Our changes are done, so hopefully we guessed it okay, and we can try to put down a good lap here and just get a solid spot for tomorrow.
You most recently won on 1.5 miles of Kansas. Was there anything that you guys brought from that setup to Las Vegas this weekend?
Some things, the racetracks are different. Obviously, Vegas has a lot more banking, so you have a lot more vertical load here than you do at Kansas. So some differences, some similarities in there too. So hopefully we can try to marry them together. We'll see.
Good luck in qualifying.
Thank you.
Riley Herbst has gone to the top of the board, 30.147. His speed, 179.122 for the Las Vegas native.
And that's the first Toyota out of 2311 Racing to go out there and make a lap here as we now continue with qualifying. Cody Ware out on the track right now. So the top 3, Riley Herbst, J.J. Yaley, Catherine Legg, and all of those actually going faster here in qualifying than what they did in practice. In fact, Riley Herbst 0.1 of a second faster. J.J. Yaley 0.2 of a second faster. Catherine Legg had a lot of room to improve. Hers a 31.644. She was about 0.7 of a second faster as we go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Bubba Wallace just took off his headset for us. 5th practice in this session on that first group that you went out, 5th fastest. What can you tell us about the racetrack, Bubba?
It's fast. It's Vegas. It's rough. But honestly, really happy with our Robin Hood Camry. It's felt really good. Took a minute to come in, but once it did, we were able to get into a really good rhythm. And so a lot of work still left to be done, right? So just got to study here, qualifying. That's one of the hardest things to do is debrief and go through the motions of practice and then forget it all, go late on the line for qualifying, and then revisit it later. So just trying to do as much as I can right now to make sure we maximize the opportunity. When
you say rough, do you mean the wind, the track, the tire? What exactly can you describe to the fans?
Yes. All of the above.
Bubba Wallace doing a great job studying. He's going to put his headset back on. And what he's studying, what he's talking about is these 4 or 5 monitors positioned right here in front of him. They're watching the driver lines of the people already going out for qualifying. So these are things that drivers pay attention and study.
You know, Bubba has been pretty consistent all year, has one of the top average start positions all season long, 15.5. Very respectable. It's not the top, but certainly nowhere near the bottom either. He started top 10 12 times. So Bubba's been a pretty good qualifier all season long.
Yeah, he really has. And they've been racing very well, especially the second half of the season. Brad Keselowski went out. He has the second fastest lap now behind Riley Herbst. Kyle Busch is on the racetrack. He's got the zone sponsorship on his Chevrolet this weekend. And again, we're watching these drivers. They're not hugging the white line in qualifying. They're running midway up the banking in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And for Kyle Busch, he now goes to the top, a 30.090. A big improvement for Kyle Busch, and this track is sped up quite a bit, Mark.
It has, and Kyle this year, his top qualifying effort, he was second at both Kansas, that's the opening Kansas race, and Pocono, and Talladega in Michigan. Get my glasses on for Kyle Busch. This team needs something good. I mean, they really need something good to happen for them at the end of the season. What better place than Las Vegas, where Kyle once upon a time and still is the youngest winner ever of a Cup race here at Vegas.
Yeah, Randall Burnett, his crew chief of nearly 3 years. It was announced that Randall Burnett will move to Trackhouse next year, become the crew chief for Connor Zilich. Andy Street now is on top of the pit box for Kyle Busch to close out the balance of the season as another Las Vegas native goes out. Wow, what a big lap for Noah Gragson, Mark.
He knocked Kyle Busch off the top spot. The speed now to beat 180.832 miles per hour. And again, as a reminder, you know, back last fall, 185.344 for Christopher Bell, and this past spring for Michael McDowell, 186.961. So the track has picked up for today, but they haven't come anywhere near those speeds, and nobody expected them to do that, actually. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
William Byron, second in this practice, getting ready to go qualifying. We see the 7 cars that have gone out. Have you learned anything else since you've been out there on the track?
Not really, no. I think the track's still cleaning up for the first couple guys, so it's still getting faster. So I feel like just trying to pay attention to the wind and what that's going to do, and then by the time we go, the track should be really good. So just trying to figure out, you know, how much throttle I can carry and try to just get a good feel for that.
Is the wind the biggest factor for you today?
It is today, yeah. It's really gusty, and you know it's blowing really hard into 3, so it's you know, it's a big change, but the 2 ends of the track are much different than normal, but tomorrow should be pretty calm wind-wise, so it'll be a lot more predictable.
Did you ever feel unstable today in practice with the tire or any kind of cording that you guys might have had?
No, the tire was kind of as expected. I thought, my car felt really good, so it was kind of as expected.
William Byron, second in this practice. Good insight from William. And as he described the wind gust, literally, we're standing here doing this interview, and a gust will come, and you could see both of our bodies kind of shift as we're talking through this interview.
Eric Jones has completed his qualifying run. Actually, he's taking the green flag. And you talk about both ends of the racetrack, as he talked about being different. We've got billboards in turns 1 and 2 that are really shading much of that racetrack, while total sun beating down on turns 3 and 4.
Eric Jones taking his Toyota down on the white line in turns 3 and 4. That's something we've not commonly seen here in qualifying. Drifts it up to the outside safer barrier. Now back down to the apron across the start-finish line for Eric Jones. He goes to the top. Another sub-30-second lap for Jones.
Nearly 182 miles per hour, 181.947 for Eric Jones. He goes to the top of qualifying for the South Point 400.
We work hard to keep our cars looking great on the outside, but engine components need our attention too. That's where you can trust Z-Max Micro Lubricant to disperse carbon buildup in your engine and fuel system. To keep your car or truck running at its peak. By soaking into the metal of your engine, Z-Max Micro Lubricant improves performance, extends engine life, and reduces emissions. Trust the many customers who've said, "Thanks for saving my engine." Find out more at zmax.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
In addition to traditional summer camp, Victory Junction also hosts family weekends, partner programs, and day camps. And the Victory Junction Outreach Program takes camp fun beyond our gates to children at hospitals and partner sites throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Victory Junction makes the impossible accessible.
This is a place that needs to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are never going to run out of kids that can benefit from Victory Junction.
Discover how you can get involved at victoryjunction.org.
Qualifying underway for the South Point 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hey, it's Charlie and Debbie, along with NASCAR legend Kyle Petty, inviting you to join us for Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown.
Each week, we'll put it in reverse and take a trip down memory lane, looking back at that week's top 20 country songs from years past.
We'll dive into what made those songs and artists move the needle, what pop culture trends made those years unique.
And you'll get to hear me tell stories only I can tell.
So don't miss Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown right here each week.
Welcome to PRN's At the Track. I'm Lenny Baticki. We are PRN's half-hour weekly show dedicated to the short track, dirt track, legends, and kart racing across the Southeast. We provide our audience with the news and insightful conversations with the newsmakers from grassroots racing.
How did that help you this time to take this victory from a grassroots perspective?
I definitely felt like Martinsville was a lot harder than the other one.
That's PRN's At the Track.
We're back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, currently on top of qualifying for the South Point 400, Eric Jones. Again, his speed, 181.947. Jones has won a pole here at Vegas. That was in the fall of 2018. He's one of 7 drivers in the race this weekend that have captured the pole position, 13 poles altogether. Joey Logano, Christopher Bell on top of that group with 3, Kyle Busch with 2, Keselowski, Blaney, Jones, Reddick, and McDowell, 1 apiece.
Carson Hocevar just took the green flag for his qualifying lap. He was second fastest in Group 1. Overall, he was 13th quick, but we've seen how the track has gained a little more speed here in qualifying. We'll see what Carson Hocevar can do as he makes his way midway down the Nellis straightaway, now dives it down into turn number 3. Hocevar, one of the drivers like Eric Jones, taking the white line approach on the turn 3 and 4 side of the racetrack as he'll come across the start-finish line. And for the number 77 of Hocevar, he will go second quick behind Eric Jones, Mark.
181.800 for Carson Hocevar. His top qualifying position here at Las Vegas in the past is 6th. He was love to do better than that. Currently in position to do just that.
Yeah, teammate Justin Haley now taking his car around the racetrack. It goes into turn number 1, and again, you mentioned the billboards and the shadows they create on the racetrack. It's almost like you see walls that have red and white stripes. Imagine dark and lighter asphalt. That's the way the shadows look. And Justin Haley, again, like most cars, midway up the banking going through 3 and 4, and now we're starting to see a lot of Mark hit the white line. Midway up the banking in 1 and 2, we're starting to see them hit the white line in 3 and 4.
And here is Haley across the apron, and he is going to be third quick, just a tick behind his teammate Carson Hocevar. So our current top 5, Eric Jones, Carson Hocevar, Justin Haley, Noah Gragson, Austin Cindric, followed by Kyle Busch, Riley Herbst, Brad Keselowski, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware. then J.J. Yaley, Catherine Legg, 11th and 12th.
Had the opportunity to play blackjack with this next driver last night at the South Point Hotel and Casino with Brendan Gaughan's Celebrity Blackjack Tournament benefiting Speedway Children's Charities. Austin Dillon was the first one among our group. He was sitting next to Doug Rice, and Austin Dillon quickly grew his chip count last night. He is one heck of a blackjack player.
Was he taking Doug's stack down lower at the same time?
No, he was actually helping. And Austin Dillon now goes third quick as we go back down to Heather DeBow.
And here now with Ryan Blaney, who's awaiting his turn at qualifying, watching what others are doing out there. 17th on the board in practice. What issues were you fighting? A lot of drivers are mentioning wind, tires, turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, all the above, I guess. So, 3 and 4 was pretty tough, right? Just this place usually pretty strong tailwinds down the backstretch and push you into 3 and then hitting you in the left side door, kind of middle of the corner, which always makes it pretty tough and hard to hit like a consistent lane, but same for everybody, right? You're trying to figure out how to navigate through it. I think we got a little bit of work to do. I wasn't super happy with kind of the speed or the way my car felt, so hopefully we can dig into a little bit of where we can go forward. But now it's all about how do you make a lap, and seeing what it's going to take to run a good lap. So we'll see what happens.
What kind of pressure are you feeling as Ryan Blaney in this moment in the playoffs where everybody's points are really tight, you can win and lock yourself in, and then you got guys that are running better than you currently? Where's your head at in this moment?
Oh, just go try to do the best job you can every weekend. That part of the job stays the same. You want to go perform to your max potential every weekend, no matter what spot you're in or what part of the year. Just obviously this year, in this time, it's intensified because it's our playoffs, and every little mistake is amplified. Everything matters, but it's just how do you maximize your weekend, and how do we collectively as a group do a good job and make our best effort, possible. So that's really the only mindset I got.
All right, thank you.
Ryan Blaney, always consistent about I come to the racetrack to do the best I can every single week, which has led to wins in the playoff and led to, of course, moving on in the easiest way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Ryan Blaney, the 2023 champion, would love to make some big things happen here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's been strong at this track. It's just not converted yet to a trip to victory lane. In fact, when we start to look at where we've been here at Las Vegas, the last time we were here, he crashed out early, unfortunately. You don't need that. Last year in this race, ended up having another rough finish of 32nd, but before that, he was third here at this track.
Cole Custer has just moved into the number 2 spot at 181.861. Zane Smith just clocked a lap that moves him into 4th. So we have Jones, Custer, Hocevar, Zane Smith, Austin Dillon, our top 5. The rest of our top 10, Nemechek, Haley, Gregson, Cindric, and Kyle Busch.
On the track right now, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has a big patriotic paint scheme on his number 47. He just took the green flag. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has had success in the Xfinity Series here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And really, Mark, when you look at Hayek Motorsports, the last truly independent team, they have a small alliance with Hendrick Motorsports, a small one, but for this single car team, when they make big things happen, they make big things happen without having the same kind of data, the same kind of research, the same kind of resource as every other team.
No matter what the teams may or may not think about Stenhouse and that team, they don't go to sleep on them at Talladega, Daytona, when it comes to races like that, or now at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ricky Stenhouse always in the mix.
Yeah, he is. He performs very, very well. So for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he goes 5th quick among the 16 cars that have been out there on the track right now. And now we see Todd Gilliland out there making his time lap. His teammate Zane Smith was 4th quick. Let's see what Todd Gilliland can do. Of course, the Gilliland family, big in West Coast racing, and the Gilliland family, big in NASCAR racing as well.
I think years ago, again, this is my last race weekend, so my brain doesn't always operate. I'm looking back all the races. But I believe I did the victory lane, did the pit reporting when David Gilliland won his race at Kentucky Speedway years and years ago, which I believe was his first Xfinity Series win.
That was a big one that really jump-started the career of David Gilliland, and, of course, now Todd Gilliland doing some big things here. So he goes out 10th quick. Ross Chastain on the racetrack right now. He was second quick overall in 15-lap average, the fastest from Group 1. He was one of the drivers in practice under 30 seconds, 8th quick overall. And after tapping the wall ever so slightly, maybe a little more than ever so slightly, let's see what Ross Chastain can do now that he's under the clock. Coming out of turn number 4 right now, that Tootsie's Chevrolet is going to see the checkered flag. And what can the Melon Man do here in qualifying for the South Point 400?
He goes to the top, 182.469, the first driver to get over 182 today. Of course, 19 drivers have qualified at this point. 182.469 is now the speed to beat. As we pause 10 seconds for station identification, you're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
When we come back, the next car scheduled to go out: Alex Bowman, Spring Vegas winner Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, A.J. Allmendinger, and Bubba Wallace is qualifying midway through for the South Point 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
So you're a Toyota Cup driver and you just made it to the playoffs. Now all you have to do is win. Easy. Just turn left, right? That, and start strong, take off, reach 200 miles per hour, maintain a good position, no big deal, lap again, time your pit stops, steer clear of accidents, talk to your crew chief like your best friend, and most importantly, turn left. Easy, right? You in? Get up to speed at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
Hey folks, it's Doug Rice. Did you know you can take PRN with you anywhere? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live races just about any place on the planet, and you will not miss a second of the action. Plus, you can hear our shows like the fantastic editions of Fast Talk, plus Brett McMillan on the Pit Reporters and Mark Garrow with Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information right at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app, available at the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Up next to qualify in just a moment, Alex Bowman and our winner earlier here this year at Las Vegas, Josh Berry. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
No one's paying me to say this, but you've been our lifeline. We have no internet. We have no TV. We barely have cell service. I don't know how I'm able to get to you. My Wi-Fi is not working. And I have a radio, and I finally got power on, and I have it plugged in, and I could hear you. You're the only station I can get in.
Wow. Well,
That's
I'm
why
glad
we're
we're here.
So,
Wow.
The report that we got was that a severe tornado was heading right toward us. But I just want to commend you gentlemen for the job that you're doing, for keeping us informed.
I just wanted to say thank you for being on the radio and guiding us to, where we can get help.
I just want to tell you, the first thing I heard was your voices on the next morning. Oh, shoot. And it made me cry. The comfort of hearing your voices.
My respiration, perspiration, and aggravation are sky high, but you guys have been the guiding light.
Your local AM station makes a difference.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, qualifying for the South Point 400. Brad Gilley alongside Mark Garrow, covering things trackside on pit road. Heather DeBow and Wendy Venturini. And Alex Bowman takes his green Ally Chevrolet across the start-finish line and goes straight to the top in qualifying, Mark.
182.803 for Alex Bowman, beating the 182.469 for Ross Chastain, and quickly up, flashing across the stripe, coming up to full song, full speed in the Wood Brothers Ford, Josh Berry.
Josh Berry won back in the spring here at Las Vegas in the Pennzoil 400, a two-time winner of the Xfinity Series race here. In fact, when he did it driving two different cars for Junior Motorsports, and he has always been fast when we come out west. And as Josh Berry now makes his way through turns 3 and 4, we'll go back down to pit road and Heather DeBow.
And Kyle Larson was P9 in that practice session, but early on you made 6 laps due to a loose condition. After those adjustments, what was your handling like?
Our second run was kind of similar, just too edgy and loose, and then I felt like we made a step finally in a better direction the final run, but by then your tires are kind of hot and wore out, so hard to get a fair read on it, but yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be quite a bit different though tomorrow. If it's less windy, I think right now it's super windy, so I think that's kind of affecting us a good bit, but we'll try to qualify good here.
You've scored more points than any other driver on mile and a half this year. What is the key that you and your team bring to these tracks and the success that you've had this season so far with them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we just have a decent handle on the mile and a halves. I think we did get off there for a little while, but I don't know. We'll see. It's not been the best start, but hopefully we can figure it out.
All right, that's Kyle Larson. Wendy Venturini.
Chase Briscoe is just had his headset off. He was watching Ty Gibbs' lap there. So, Chase, what did you learn in watching Ty and to take into your qualifying lap?
Yeah, there's some stuff that on the 19 team we kind of talked about in the simulator, if it would be capable of doing it if we wanted to, and surprisingly, Ty just kind of did it, so kind of verified some stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tricky right now because the wind is changing so much that, one guy might be able to do one thing, and then the wind gusts come, and they can't do it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting here in qualifying to see how the wind and everything goes, and hopefully we get the right gust, and hopefully we can have another good qualifying effort with our Bass Pro Shops Tracker Toyota.
So what you saw Ty Gibbs do, is it something that you tried in the sim that you're going to try right now?
Yeah, it's been something I've been kind of all week working on. It's nothing crazy, but definitely something different than what some of the other guys, I guess, are doing. So, yeah, we're seeing if it works, I guess.
All right, that's Chase Briscoe, and you guys can't see it, but he was holding his hat down because these gusts of wind are hitting us real quickly, real suddenly. But I think it's very interesting what he just told us. Did you catch on to all those details? They tried something in the sim. Ty Gibbs tried it just now, and it worked. He wanted to do that interview with us on PRN, and he said, just give me a second, I want to watch Ty Gibbs' lap. And he did see what he wanted to see from Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, the fastest lap so far, 183.377 miles per hour for Ty Gibbs. Alex Bowman again, 182.803. And quickly, Bubba Wallace in a Toyota now goes to the top, 183.667. He unseats Ty Gibbs from the top spot. Updating a couple of other drivers that just completed their runs. A.J. Allmendinger currently in the 6th position. Josh Berry, Brad, a very disappointing 15th.
But that's what we've seen out of the Fords here today. Wendy Venturini.
Denny Hamlin also quick in practice. We just talked to Chase Briscoe that he did something in the sim that Ty Gibbs just put out there for qualifying. Did you catch it, and are you going to try the same thing for qualifying?
Probably not. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I didn't see him do a whole lot out of the ordinary. A few things, but mainly just trying to get the best lap I can, put it somewhere in the top 10 and get a good start spot.
How bad's the wind?
It's bad. It's gusty. It's every corner is a little different because the amount of wind that's coming at you is a little different. So it's certainly a wild card, at least today.
Yep, it is a wild card. It's a little bit risky. It sounds just like Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Daniel Suarez just went out just slightly slower than teammate Ross Chastain. Currently, Daniel Suarez 5th quick. Ross Chastain is 4th, the fastest. A couple of Toyotas marked the last time we were on a 1.5 mile track at Kansas. We saw Toyotas the fastest both in qualifying and in racing. We're starting to see a little bit of that same trend here today.
And we saw the guy currently on top come within one corner of getting the victory at Kansas, Bubba Wallace.
That we did. Now taking the checkered flag, Michael McDowell in his Chevrolet. He goes 6th quick out there on the speed chart as qualifying is quickly winding down here. We have not yet got to our 8 playoffs drivers. That's going to be coming up here shortly. Tyler Reddick, his teammate Bubba Wallace, is the fastest so far here as he takes his pink and black number 45 Toyota with the green flag, and he's under his time lap.
Had a close call there at the exit of turn 4. A little bit of a twitch. Got very close to the safer barrier. Didn't hit it. Reddick now on the power down the back straightaway as he dives into turn 3.
Watching Tyler Reddick work his way down to the bottom of the racetrack now. A lot of wind, especially going down the backstretch here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Makes a smooth exit off of turn number 4.
All right, so Tyler Reddick now taking the checkered flag, and Mark, he goes second quick. That didn't necessarily look like a fast lap on the racetrack, but my gosh, he laid it down with that Toyota.
By the way, that voice that just came out of nowhere, Pat Patterson, the racing guy in turn 4. How's the wind up there, Pat?
Whoa, I tied the gear down, then I tied myself down. Let's put it that way. It is really blowing out here this afternoon, y'all, and it's going to be something for the race coming up after this qualifying. And right now, these guys have got to be scratching their heads in terms of trying to figure out you're going, as much as 10 to 15 miles an hour faster into turns 3 and 4 right now. So we watch another car working their way off of turn number 4. That's Ryan Preece. But it's really windy out here, and it's going to play a factor in this qualifying session.
Congratulations to Ryan Preece and his lovely wife. She gave birth to their second child earlier this week. So a big happy moment for the Preece family.
Was that the name? Bentley?
Bentley is the name. And Ryan was out there at the charity blackjack tournament last night at the South Point Hotel and Casino. And he's got a fast car here today, 6 quick. Not too shabby for Ryan Preece, the fastest Ford so far.
And right behind him is RFK Racing teammate Chris Buescher is the next driver on the clock. Other drivers yet to go. Shane Van Gisbergen is next up at the plate, followed by, again, now we get into the playoff drivers. Logano, Hamlin, Briscoe, Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Bell, Larson. They're still to go.
Chris Buescher was the fastest Ford in practice. Can he be the fastest Ford in qualifying? His blue number 17 crosses the start-finish line. And for Chris Buescher, so far the fastest among the blue oval. He is 4th quick. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, 2 Toyotas up at the top. Ty Gibbs 3rd quick, followed by Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, and Eric Jones round out the top 10 as our playoffs drivers are coming up next.
At Hunt Brothers Pizza, you can choose from 10 toppings at no extra charge. In a hurry, call ahead to place your order or grab a hunk of pizza on the go. Find your nearest location at huntbrotherspizza.com and follow me, Joey Logano, all season long.
By downloading the free PRN mobile app, you can listen to all of our live race broadcast anywhere. You'll also have easy access to all of our award-winning studio shows. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app.
In addition to traditional summer camp, Victory Junction also hosts family weekends, partner programs, and day camps. And the Victory Junction Outreach Program takes camp fun beyond our gates to children at hospitals and partner sites throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Victory Junction makes the impossible accessible.
This is a place that needs to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are never going to run out of kids that can benefit from Victory Junction.
Discover how you can get involved at victoryjunction.org.
Coming up next, Roval winner Shane Van Gisbergen. Then it's our round of 8 playoffs drivers from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
My fiance is a veteran.
I did tours in Korea, Germany, and Bosnia before I got injured.
When Yusuf got out of the military, he needed help getting his disability benefits.
Luckily, DAV came to the rescue. They fought for me the same way that I fought for my country.
Every year, DAV provides life-changing support to more than 1 million veterans.
My victory is never giving up and finding more ways to serve.
He's pretty amazing.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk. We have NASCAR Hall of Famer Kurt Busch. What does a much older, wiser Kurt Busch want to tell Carson Hocevar?
Well, let's bust out all the VHS tapes, and you can watch all my mistakes. Try not to do those, Carson. I like what he's doing. He's learning, and he's putting his time in up front.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
So Tyler Reddick missed by only 12 thousandths of a second from unseating his teammate at 23:11 Racing, Bubba Wallace, from the top spot. They are currently 1 and 2 right now. Bubba on top at 183.667 miles per hour. And Tyler Reddick, not a lot of pole positions this season, that kind of thing, but he has been super consistent in qualifying. The 5th best average starting position all season long for Tyler Reddick. Matter of fact, 4th.
Not too bad. Shane Van Gisbergen on the track right now. Special black jockey paint scheme on that car. Has a lot of things New Zealand. that they've added to the paint scheme on that. And Pat Patterson, he's headed toward you.
Got to be the most improved oval driver of the year. Van Gisbergen keeps it out next to the wall in the Nellis straightaway, better known as the backstretch. Here he is exiting turn number 4. Let's see what kind of speed SVG's got.
At the line, SVG is the 30th driver, I believe, to take a time, and it's good. 6th quick. 182.519. That is better than Chastain, who is currently 7th. His other teammate, Daniel Suarez, currently 9th. But overall for Trackhouse Racing, very good qualifying effort.
About to solve a big mystery here. Is Joey Logano just slow here at Las Vegas, or was that just a bad practice session? He has taken the green flag. He goes midway up the banking in turns 1 and 2, and he'll exit turn 2 and head down the Nellis straightaway.
Got to be one of the most interested qualifying laps for everybody on that pit road, including Joey Logano. Out next to the wall now, pulls the wheel down to the left, paints that white line with that left front wheel. Let's see what the 22 has got.
28th in practice. Can Joey Logano move up the chart? Oh, yeah, he can.
Wow.
All the way to 3rd. 183.542 for Joey Logano. So forget about practice. Here we go.
Bubba Wallace smiling at that one. Man, that was one heck of a lap for him. All right, here we go. We got another Toyota out there right now. 2311 occupies the top 2 spots. Here's the owner of that organization, Denny Hamlin, with the purple and black AM/PM sponsorship, and he'll head down the back straightaway.
Not always the greatest qualifier, but don't ever count him out racing, especially here at Las Vegas. Here comes Hamlin down to the bottom of the racetrack, lets the car drift up just a little bit off of the middle of the corner, and the 11 is back to the stripe.
Denny Hamlin completing his qualifying run for the South Point 400. He is going to be on the top of the chart, 184.849. The provisional pole sitter right now has become Denny Hamlin.
So for the second time on a 1.5-mile track, Mark, Denny Hamlin has knocked Bubba Wallace out of the top spot, just in a different way than what happened at Kansas.
Yeah. Bubba can take this one a whole lot easier, though, I believe.
All right, well, this could be the bigger threat to the pole position. That's because Chase Briscoe 6 times on the top starting spot this year. He's headed back toward you, Pat Patterson.
Boy, we've seen this car do some amazing things in qualifying over the years. Briscoe behind the wheel goes right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like the tail gets a little bit loose off the corner, but loose might be fast, guys.
Here he is across the apron, flashes across the stripe. Will he go to the top of the board? No. Second quick to Denny Hamlin, 184.622, and again, very tight. Hamlin 29.213 to Briscoe's 29.249.
Ryan Blaney now hitting the track. He's about to take the green flag. Joey Logano just put up what is now the 5th fastest lap. Let's see if Ryan Blaney says, oh, you think that's fast? We'll see what this team Penske Ford has for his teammate Logano. He's headed back to the Nellis straightaway.
All right, here comes Blaney now. He gets it right there in the middle of the Nellis straightaway, right past that big American flag, hangs it out right out next to the wall. Now dives to the bottom here in 3 and 4. Stays hard, and the gas is going to exit really low. I don't know if this will be quick or not, guys.
Slides up against the safer barrier. Now back to the apron of the racetrack and across the stripe. Blaney will be 10th quick at 182.482 miles per hour.
So Joey Logano has found an amazing amount of speed between practice and qualifying. Blaney a little faster than he was in practice as well compared to the field. All right, here's a driver who was one of the fastest over 5, 10, 15 lap average. Can William Byron be the fastest when it comes to qualifying here for the South Point 400? He takes that car out of turn number 2.
Here comes that Chevy down the Nellis straightaway here towards turn number 3. Again, right out next to the wall. The breeze is down a little bit from what it was. He's right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Willie B.
Byron now got close to the outside barrier, hooks a hard left across the apron. Again, as he takes the checkered flag in his qualifying run, 3rd quick for William Byron, 184.275. Hamlin still on top.
Joe Gibbs Racing occupying the top 2 spots provisionally here with just 3 cars left to qualify. One of them NASCAR's most popular driver, the winner at Kansas Speedway, Chase Elliott with the white Napa number 9 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Again, midway up the banking in turns 1 and 2.
Everybody on their edge of their seat down in Dawsonville. Let's see what the number 9 driver can do here as he works down the backstretch, down to the very bottom of the racetrack. A white paint scheme on this number 9 car this weekend. A good exit off of turn number 4.
Chase Elliott chases his car just a bit as he comes across the line. He will go to third. 184.559 for Chase Elliott. Hamlin, Briscoe, Elliott, Byron, Bubba Wallace, our current top 5. Left to go, just Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson.
We are guaranteed to have a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota on the front row. The question is, will it be one? Will it be 2 of them? Will it be Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe, or will it be Christopher Bell? The Sooner is out on the racetrack right now. Christopher Bell cranking it back up as he gets to the gas coming off of 2.
Where you start at Vegas means a lot, particularly in this race, in the fall part of the year. Here's Bell, bottom of the racetrack he goes with his car. It's got his standard ream colors on it as he exits turn number 4. Can he go to the top of the board, guys?
Christopher Bell trying to win another pole here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway will not do it. He is third quick. 184.584. Joe Gibbs Racing. 3 Toyotas currently, 1, 2, and 3.
Now, let's see if this can get broken up by a former winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's got that stealth black Chevrolet. HendrickCars.com with Zach Brown Band at the Sphere. Pat Patterson was at the Sphere last night. Let's see what this Kyle Larson car can do as he's coming back to you, Pat.
Well, the Eagles were rocking and rolling. Let's see if he can rock and roll here at Las Vegas, this 1.5-mile racetrack. Straight down the backstretch he goes, bottom of the track. He gets it down smoothly, holds the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see what he's got. Kyle Larson.
He's on the hammer now. On the floorboard, trying to beat Denny Hamlin for the top spot, and the answer is absolutely no. Outside of row 3, Kyle Larson is 6th quick, so Denny Hamlin wins his first pole position here at Las Vegas, his 4th in 2025. He leads all active drivers, now with 47.
Wow, Joe Gibbs Racing playoffs drivers, we should say, Mark, occupying the top 3 spots. In fact, playoffs drivers occupying the top 6 spots. We're going to hear from Denny Hamlin coming up here momentarily. He'll be joined on the front row by teammate Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell will start 3rd. Chase Elliott will start 4th. Teammate William Byron starts 5th, and Kyle Larson starts 6th. It's Joe Gibbs, top 3. Hendrick, the next 3. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, non-playoffs drivers will start 7th and 8th. Joey Logano, a big improvement from practice. He'll start 9th, and Ty Gibbs rounds out the top 10.
So all 4 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas in the top 10. Joey Logano, the lone Ford. Chris Buescher just outside the top 10 in the 11th spot.
Wow, what a big, big jump that you have right now. If you're Joe Gibbs Racing, if you're Hendrick Motorsports, top 6 spots among them, starting this race here at Las Vegas, a win here can vault you into the championship round.
And if you're Joey Logano and his team, you're breathing a little bit easier. 28th in practice, you wind up 9th in qualifying, and we all know, of course, that means an improved pit selection. If you qualified 28th, things might have gotten a little ugly early for Joey Logano, but he's pulled one out of the fire here and qualified 9th for this race.
Yeah, this is one of those that they went, all right, Logano is 28th, the competitors. Now they went, oh, man, they just found all their speed again.
Look, Joey comes to play in the playoffs. This is a guy that can rise to the occasion. The pressure's on. He's usually come up with something big. This weekend probably is not going to be any different.
Yeah, for Denny Hamlin, he's gone several years now without a Championship 4 appearance. A pole here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway might just put him closer to another one as well. We're going to hear from him coming up here shortly after winning that pole starting spot. In fact, let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And Denny Hamlin gets his 4th pole of the season. So tell us about that qualifying lap with this win being as sketchy as it is, and how is the performance of your race car?
Team just did a phenomenal job of making adjustments, from practice to that qualifying run. I typically Saturdays have not been our strong suit, especially at this racetrack. But that's a great way to Band-Aid a Saturday, knowing that we're setting ourselves up for a good Sunday.
What are the challenges you guys are going to battle tomorrow to keep the track position, which we know is so important here in Las Vegas?
It's really the balance of the car. It's, can you, as a driver and a team, keep up with the changing conditions? And obviously the wind is one way today. It will be different tomorrow. It will be different at the end of the race. So adjusting for all that, the rubber on the track will be different. There's so many variables. And so, we set up our car and plan this week to be good at the end of the race. And that comes with some Saturday struggles like we had today. But this was a great Band-Aid that they put on it that allowed me to get one lap out of it, and then hopefully I can hang on to it tomorrow early in the race.
Well, congratulations on winning the pole, Denny Hamlin. He'll be teammates next to him with Chase Briscoe on that front row, and he's your pole sitter for the South Point 400.
So